I was trilingual by the age of 14. Today we're going to talk about how I was able to learn 3 languages before I turned 15 years old. Let's go. So we're going to start off with how I learned my first couple of languages and then how I learned my third language. So I learned English and Spanish at the same time. And this is because I was born into a bilingual family with a mother who is from Argentina and a father who is British. My grandparents from my mother's side are Spanish and my grandparents from my father's side are Italian. So in my family, languages was very important and it was very common to speak more than one language. For example, my mother, she speaks 3 and my father, he speaks 3 as well. So I had to learn English and Spanish. Also, I was born in Mexico. When I was 3 months old, I moved to Miami. So I went from a Spanish-speaking country to an English-speaking country. And then when I turned 4, I moved to Argentina, a Spanish-speaking country. When I was 7, I moved to Orlando, an English-speaking country. And then I moved back to Miami. And then that is how the journey on how I learned French began. So for context, by the age of 13, I knew English and Spanish fluently. Now, when I was 14 years old, I was attending an international school here in Miami. It was an international school because it was a magnet school about languages. So I was in the French program to learn French. Sadly, my teacher was Cuban, so I did not learn anything, which is why with my family, we decided to move to France. Yes, I mean move to France at 14 years old just to learn a language. But thanks to moving, I was able to learn French in 4 months. You might be thinking, Gala, how is that possible? Well, let me go through the story. So at 14 years old, actually by 13 years old, I was attending in school in Miami for international students that wanted to learn different languages. I was in the French program, like I said. After a whole school year, I did not learn anything, which is why with my family, we decided to move to France for 9th grade. We decided to move to the city called Bordeaux, which is a city that I had never been before. It's not like Paris. It's a city, but it's a little bit smaller, so it was better for us to just move there for the first time. And it was also going to be a new adventure because we had never visited the city before. We thought of it as an adventure. Some people might think it's crazy to move to a city that you've never been before and you don't even speak the language. But in my family, that's just what we do, you know? So I moved to Bordeaux and that's when I realized that I had to attend school. But in France, you have 2 different programs. You have the program for kids that are expats and immigrants that don't speak the language. So you are attending a school where they're teaching you your core classes like math, English, or like literature, history, geography, science. But they're also teaching you French. So the classes would have been in either English or Spanish. Or you passed an exam that showed that you had a good level in French to attend a regular public French school. This one would have been easier, but this is the one that I went for because I knew that if I attended a school with kids that did not speak French, my friends would not speak French and I would never actually learn the language. I would be in this bubble. So I did everything I could to attend this school, the regular French school. So what I did was when I moved there, I had 1 month before school started, 2 weeks before my exam to see whether I was fluent or not. So during those 2 weeks, I tried to learn as much as I could. I got myself a tutor and we went through every single question that they might ask me. The questions were going to be more about myself and it was going to be more like an interview than just like a written exam. So I memorized everything. I had my whole story down. I was able to talk about myself, my family, my favorite colors, my favorite food, my favorite animals. I was able to answer every single question about myself and about basic French grammar. I had the basics done, but again, it was all memorization. So I went for the date of the exam and I passed. I was so happy I had passed the exam. Now, I did not speak French. She thought I did, the lady that had quizzed me, because I had memorized everything. But then, 2 weeks later, it was time for me to attend regular French school. And I remember me being inside the classroom, the teacher speaking to me, and me not understanding anything. Zero. Nada. I did not understand what was happening. I was a lost dog, a lost puppy in this crowd of French speakers. Luckily, there were 2 girls, one that wanted to learn Spanish and one that wanted to learn English. So they kind of were trying to speak to me in either Spanish or English, and I was able to make some friends. Actually, after the first day of school, the girl that wanted to learn English, she invited me over to her friend's house for lunch after school. So even though I did not know what was happening, I was starting to make friends, which was amazing. And thanks to being in this immersion, after 4 months, I was fluent in French. After 8 months, I was completely fluent and I knew all the slang. I knew everything that I needed to know. I was even in the top 5 of my class, which was a great accomplishment because as someone that did not speak the language, being in the top 5 of the class meant a lot to me. So there we go. That is how I was able to learn 3 languages by the age of 14. Now you might be thinking, Gala, is there any new language that you're learning? Actually, yes, I'm learning Italian, but of course I'm not taking such drastic measures to learn it. I'm not moving to Italy right now, but I am studying Italian. I am not really being super consistent, which is why maybe I have not improved as much as I want to, but I can hold a basic conversation in Italian, which I'm really happy about, and I am planning on next year moving to Europe and maybe spending 6 months in France so I can practice my French, and then the other 6 months in a city in Italy so I could practice my Italian. And I want you guys to stick along for this whole adventure, so definitely subscribe. But now it's time to talk about today's sponsor. Leia AI is a remarkable English language learning platform that will revolutionize the way that you learn the English language. Imagine having an AI companion by your side, ready to engage in a conversation with you whenever you want. I totally get it. Having to speak in your target language can be so nerve-wracking. That is what happens with me with Italian all the time. Maybe I encounter some Italians here in Miami walking around and I would love to practice, but in the back of my head, a thought comes up saying, you are going to make mistakes. Don't embarrass yourself. But lucky for you, Leia AI will get those worries to rest because all you have to worry about is learning the language and not have that little thought in the back of your head telling you that you're going to make a mistake, you're going to be judged, and that this is a huge problem. Because whenever you want to practice your English, all you have to do is open the Leia app and it's going to be there to help you. Trust me when I say this, that once you start using the Leia AI app every single day, you're going to see a drastic change in just 3 months. You're going to feel like a native and sound like one too. Your confidence level is going to skyrocket and your English language is going to improve so much. Lucky for you, I also have a 50% discount code. So if you want to try out the app, you can get 50% off using the code GALA50. So if you want to learn English in a supportive environment that is there to help you, not judge you, and is there for you 24/7, then this app is for you. That's my story. That is how I was able to learn 3 languages by the age of 14 and how I'm learning my 4th language at 18 years old. If you want to improve your English language, then you should definitely check out Leia AI, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye!